Coming up, he's no ninja, but he sure is a snapper.
Whoa!
Tick-tock, it's crocodile o'clock out on the river.
There we go, there's his eyes, glowing at me.
And a mamma mia, it's a pasta timer for this a lady and a tramper.
Tim Doyle radio holders helping with Leo. Can we meet in Lost World in 5 minutes, please?
I've got a big job to do here in the Lost World of Reptiles at the park, and it needs all hands on deck.
There you go, big boy.
Leonardo, our alligator snapping turtle, has to be weighed, but that's going to be the easy bit. Lifting this monster out of his tank is going to be a nightmare. The reason moving him is such a challenge and so dangerous is because of that big head and those strong jaws. They're called alligator snappers for a reason. When that jaw snaps shut, it doesn't open. And if there's a finger or body part inside, it's not coming back. The water is his domain. So by dropping the water in the tank, it means that all of his weight is down on the ground, and that gives us an advantage. To move Leo safely and protect my staff, I'm planning this manoeuvre with military precision.
Nick and Mike, you're going to jump in. Kyle will help underneath. You're going to keep a bit of weight up. You guys grab, you know where, front and back, nowhere near the head. Consider him like a croc. Anywhere in front of those front shoulders is the strike zone.
It's such a tight squeeze in Leo's tank. Mike has to try to lift the turtle out on his own.
I'm actually a bit nervous about picking up this guy because I've certainly never picked up one before.
That's good. Are you right, mate? Someone give him a hand from under. We can't take it yet, Mike.
I've got God knows how many kilos out in front of me, and the whole time you've got this razor-sharp mouth out there moving around. I don't want to drop this guy.
We good, boys? Take a breath?
Yep.
OK, keep coming down.
Look at those jaws. You wouldn't want to get bitten by them. There's a job to be done, though. Can't duck out now.
OK, now watch your fingers, mate. OK. Right. G'day. This is Leonardo. And we're going to weigh him.
Leo's a real showstopper. And the thing that's attracting the most attention is his extraordinary mouth.
Can you see that pink thing in his mouth? You know what he does with that? He pretends it's a worm and he wiggles it around underwater and a fish goes in to try and eat the worm. And what do you reckon the turtle does? Eats the fish. Alligator snapping turtles live in swamps and mainly in the southern half of the United States of America. They might look slow, but they are in fact ambush predators. Oh, that spike's hurt, eh? Put your head down, buddy. The head, it's like a vice and it snaps shut. Anything that goes in there, you've lost it. The turtle's gonna bite and not let go.
We're having to head off-site because the scales at the park are just not up to the job.
We're off now to a factory around the corner and they're really nice guys. They actually make pet food treats and what they do for us is let us use their industrial scales. And for something the size of Leonardo or our big crocodiles or alligators, this is exactly what we need. Righto, gents.
52.
I can't do a job like this without doing a guess-the-weight sweepstake with the boys. There's no prize, only glory for the winner. Time to get our prehistoric passenger.
Let's hope he hasn't turned around. Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks a lot.
Last time on the show, we met young Kimberly, the Lumholtz tree kangaroo, who Margette, her carer, believed was suffering from colic. It's a debilitating disease that causes stomach cramps. We took Kimberly to the vet, who prescribed some medication. She's desperately underweight for her age, and Margette is really worried. The hope is it'll relieve the pain and encourage her to eat. Back home, before we test her appetite, Margette has some other hungry marsupials to feed.
She's coming out.
Yes.
Hello.
She knows it's feed time. You want to do this one?
What is it? Well, look at that. That's a little northern quail. How old do you think? 2 to 3 months?
Yeah.
Look at that. And what's this little guy's story?
He was found in a shed. The actual nest was found.
Yes.
And what happened to the mother, I don't know.
Don't
but
know.
They seem to be abandoned. There was a couple of dead ones.
It seems to me he's pretty lucky where he's ended up, eh?
Yeah.
As small as this may look,
You might find it hard to believe that this is one of the closest relatives of the Tasmanian devil. It's the smallest of the 3 quoll species. Next up is the eastern quoll, and then you've got the tiger quoll. And above them, the largest living carnivorous marsupial is the devil. Now, northern quolls, well, they get about the size of maybe a guinea pig when they're full grown. They're carnivorous, but they'll eat insects, geckos, birds, anything they can get their little hands on. He's done.
Now the moment of truth. Will Kimberly finally eat something?
Okay, Kimberly, let's see what we can offer you. There we go.
She's a good drinker. Do you think the treatments have worked?
Well, she had been drinking the milk all through her cramps,
Yes.
so it'll show maybe when we offer the leaves
Yes.
after.
The milk is going down a treat. Great news. But can Kimberly stomach some local flora?
Want me to take my little guy? Thank you. Hey, let go of him.
Come here. Come here.
I think she wants to explore.
Here we go.
That's good.
She does have an interest.
It's going to be a long road for young Kimberly, but she's in very good hands.
Now, I've heard you've got a pretty special man around the house. Who is Jeffrey?
Well, Jeffrey is a 9-year-old male tree kangaroo that I raised from about 600 grams.
Which is about a third the size of Kimberly now.
Yeah. He is just absolutely magnificent. Even after 3 weeks, I knew he was alpha male material. He's just so strong. Come on, I show you where Jeffrey lives.
Okay, that'd be great.
Good girl.
Jeffrey weighs a staggering 11 kilos and is the king of the jungle in these parts.
Well, this looks like perfect habitat. How big is your property?
Oh, it's 160 acres.
Yeah.
But of course, the territory is only about 10 acres.
Probably one of the best territories is this one right here, Margaret's house. And that's because there's a bit of a free feed for a special treeroo, Jeffrey. And he owns this as well as his little part of the forest.
But Jeffrey hasn't been seen in days. He's most likely defending his territory against other males.
But remember, Jeffrey started out like Kimberly, only smaller. Now, Margette didn't just hand-rear him. She got him to the point of establishing a territory in the wild, and that's a long process. Many slow introductions to the wild, learning how to climb, the foods. And now, he's an established, dominant male with his own territory. So when does he come?
It's usually morning or late afternoon, but I actually haven't seen him for a couple of days. He might just, you know...
No guarantees.
No.
So there's nothing left to do now except just sit and wait for him.
Time, as they say, waits for no man, and though I'd love to stick around and see Jeffrey, I've got to move on. I just hope nothing's happened to him. The next day, and what do you know? The elusive Jeffrey turned up. Jeffrey seems to have established a good home for himself and may well have 2 to 4 females he keeps in a close-knit group out in the forest. And who knows how many joeys he's sired since he took to the trees. I suspect he'll continue to be a frequent guest. After all, who wouldn't when you get tasty treats like Margette's homemade pasta?
This is the Daintree River, and it's home to a healthy population of crocodiles. You know, crocs have been cruising these waters for the past 180 million years unchanged, and that makes them living relatives of the dinosaurs. Now, there's a problem. The government wants to intervene. They want to remove crocodiles from the environment. Now, I've got an issue with this. That would be taking the top order predator out of this environment. That's pressure on the ecosystem, and it could collapse.
Not just that, it sends out the wrong message. If there's one thing that's not 100% guaranteed, it's the complete removal of crocs from an environment. It'll only end in tragedy as far as I'm concerned.
I'm here with Matt, Shane and Erin from the Croc Protection Society in the local area. And down the back is Adam. And this boat of a daytime runs Daintree cruises. But tonight, we're looking for crocs.
Before coming up here to North Queensland, Matt used to work with me at the reptile park. He's had a lifelong interest in reptiles.
Earlier this year, we decided to stand up for crocodiles and the removal. And what we decided to do is we tried to raise awareness and increase the education program in the local community for these animals.
Has there been a good response from community and locals to the society?
Yeah, definitely. The society's popularity has absolutely boomed. We've got a massive feedback from the community and everyone's getting behind us, which is fantastic.
Matt says the local government wants to take crocs out of the rivers to protect tourism. But that just seems crazy to me.
When most people, I mean, certainly me, but most people come here to see a croc and experience the wilderness.
Definitely. That's why I moved up here, just to see the wildlife.
But here's the craziest thing. People will think they can go for a swim because the government's told them the water is clear of crocs.
Well, there's actually obviously going to be a huge false sense of safety and security is going to be formed by this removal.
Yes.
And we can never guarantee the crocodiles are going to be removed. They're very mobile animals. They can come in and out of the river system whenever they want.
It seems to me that with a swelling human population, this is more about competition for land than anything else.
Tourists come here to experience the rainforests, the rivers, the crocodiles. This is the experience, not being able to swim in a river.
They can do that in a hotel pool. So there's issues around safety, but there's a wider issue as well. Taking out the apex predator would be devastating for the ecosystem.
Crocs are important in an ecosystem. They're top-order predator. Now, they play many roles. If there's a dead animal in the river, they clean it up. They also keep other species in check. And feral pigs were introduced to Australia some time ago, and pigs do enormous damage, not only to the riverbanks, they erode them, they dig them up, but pigs also dig up things like croc nests, goanna nests, they'll eat bird eggs, and anything they can find. Now, by the crocodile eating the pigs, they're keeping them in check, and that means all of those other species survive.
And it's not just on the riverbank that crocs keep things in balance.
There's a barramundi just come up, gulp, took a fish. That's another sign that this place is healthy. Crocodiles have a bit of a relationship with barramundi and catfish. The crocs eat catfish. Now, if they didn't eat the catfish are too great in numbers, and they eat all the baby barramundi.
That's no good for fish numbers and certainly isn't good for the environment. Today, there's a healthy balance. It's one we should all appreciate. What people need to remember is these giants of a prehistoric age are some of Australia's greatest attractions. Up until 40 years ago, crocs were hunted across Australia, so much so that the species almost disappeared. Some say numbers have grown too much, but I'd rather go with local knowledge. The guys that run these rivers daily, tourist operators like Adam, say there's less than 100 adult crocodiles within this entire river system. So the boatmen get to see the same croc quite often.
Now's when it gets exciting. It's just on dark and the crocs will be waking up. We just saw our first run of bubbles. That's air coming out of a crocodile's nose, but it hasn't come up. Maybe in a little while. Let's hope he hasn't turned around. Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks a lot.
We're on a mission to get our alligator snapping turtle, Leonardo, weighed.
Got him, Johnny? Right. Got you. Right, 1, 2, 3, mate. Bob, watch your hands. I got him. Getting him out of the truck was hairy because it's not just the mouth you're worrying about, but him falling on the ground. Even at short distance, he does not bounce. All right.
We've got a sweepstake going on between us. No prize, just the kudos of being right.
The scales are pretty straightforward. We walk on there with him, take our weights away, and we end up with Leonardo's weight. Righto, off we up. Oh, 44.5. Where's that pad?
Someone's 44. Yeah. What was 47?
47. Rodney! Well, you don't get a prize, mate, but you do get all the glory.
Oh, I know, mate.
Oh, turn that head around, please.
This guy's a tricky fella to manoeuvre. And let me remind you, those jaws are strong.
The job's not over until the big guy's back in his tank and it's full of water. 1, 2, 3. He's a beast, isn't he? Ooh, come on, mate. He's cranky now.
First, though, we've got to get him back through the park, but I have a feeling he'll draw a bit of attention.
Watch your hand. Oh,
That's all right.
There's some tight turns on the way back to the Lost World where we keep Leo. And I don't want him nipping at anyone's knees, least of all mine.
It's really rare to get Leo out, and our staff, the reptile keepers that care for him every day, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and they can get up close and actually touch him. We've got to make the most of that.
Come on in, mate. Behind, around the back. You can feel his tail if you want. This is Leonardo. Look at that mouth, man. That's just brilliant.
Apart from Leo's well-being, my main concern today has been safety. Now I'm about to give the park visitors a glimpse of just what those jaws look like in action. This is a piece of bamboo and it's fresh, so it's pretty soft, but I want to show you just how strong they are.
Whoa! You do not want that to be your finger. He's not going to let go. Come on, mate.
While he's out of his tank, it's a good time for a physical. Some turtles can get what's called shell rot. It wears down and can get infected, so time to take a look.
He looks great, mate. That's perfect. No signs of anything. He's got both eyes on me. Right there, when I move, they follow. And you know, his head can reach almost half the length of his body. So if you think about how far forward that is, you know, I'm safe here, but I'm not going any closer.
This is no time to get complacent. One little mistake, a hand or a leg goes too close, and this boy's gonna grab you. I gotta make sure that doesn't happen.
Right, Johnny? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go.
Getting him out of the tank was pretty tough, but the reality is, getting him back in, that's likely to be harder.
Watch your hand. Oh, that's all right. Oh, that spike's hurt, eh?
The risks now are that someone gets bitten or we drop him in the tank. I don't want either of them to happen. This is manageable. We just need to do it smooth. Keep fingers and arms in the right spot, get him back down in the tank, fill it with water, maybe give him a bit of a feed.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go up. Watch your legs, Johnny. Okay, you take next step, then I'll come up. Hold him for a sec, lift. Yeah, okay, watch your arm, Johnny. Watch your arm on the side. You got him, mate?
It's a really awkward position to be holding something in. It's like carrying a bag of cement with jaws.
Hands away, Rod. Hands away. Yep, watch out, Johnny. Back a bit. That's good. His front arms might get stuck a little. Okay, Mike, and down. Good job, mate. That went really well. Leo might be having a bit of a sook now, but he'll get over that. A few yabbies will do the trick. We've got his weight, and that means we'll be able to monitor his health over the years. And the best thing is, everyone's got their digits. It was a good day.
A few days ago, I met Kimberly, the tree-roo joey, who was suffering from colic. Well, I got a call from a carer, Margette, to say she's turned a corner. I didn't need to be asked twice to come back, and who knows, I might just get to see the elusive Jeffrey as well.
She's up high.
I tell you what, if this log was another 10 metres taller, she'd be even up much, much higher. There's no stopping her.
I thought she was going to sit here and maybe climb along and straight up.
I'm very pleased, actually. She's probably feels much better than I thought, which is great.
Margette suspects Kimberly's mother rejected her because she's a particularly active joey and was a bit of a handful. On this evidence, she's probably right. She was found in a stream after falling from trees. Her saviours tried to reconnect her with her mother, but she never showed any interest, so Kimberly was brought here.
Yeah, you're very clever. You're very clever on my arm. That feels pretty cool.
Just like Lumhold's tree-roos in the wild, Kimberly will have to stay with her adoptive mother for quite some time. It takes a couple of years at least before a joey has learnt all the techniques needed to go out on its own. They'll learn to recognise a dead branch and which barks are likely to be slippery, that sort of thing. Until then, Margette will continue to watch over her, helping to hone her skills, and eventually she'll follow Jeffrey and all the other tree-roos that Margette has helped back into the forest. As for Jeffrey, well, what do you know? He eluded me again.
Yeah, Timmy, just over there, mate. Yeah, right through there.
I'm on the Daintree River with the guys from the North Queensland Crocodile Protection Society. We've been out since dusk surveying croc numbers. There's a big female right in under there. We can see her whole body. And Adam knows her. Her name's Fang. And he thinks she might be full of eggs because the last few days she's been spending a heap of time up on the bank. Might have a nest up there. When she's ready, she'll lay those eggs. Over 50 in a nest she'd have built herself. A couple of months later, she'll hear the calls of a young from within the nest and dig them out. Then she'll carry them down to the water's edge, gently in those jaws. 1 year down the line, though, and only one, possibly two, will have survived. Predators will have taken the rest. It's nature's way of keeping the population in check. Out on the river again, and we're seeing plenty of activity. There we go, there's his eyes. Two big eyes glowing at me. This male's a little one, just over a metre or so. So maybe just a few years old. He's a long way off sexual maturity where he'll be able to sire his own young. That comes at around 20 years old when he'll have reached over 3 metres.
There's one, Tim.
Where is he, mate?
Just under there.
Oh, yep. He's little. Croc numbers are healthy nowadays when you consider 40 years ago, numbers were at a critical level due to widespread hunting. Today, they have legal protection, but the very same authorities that brought that about want to now cull these magnificent creatures. Fatal attacks do occur, but they're rare and usually down to unusual circumstances, not always the crocodile's fault.
Big croc over there!
We can't go about destroying these animals just because the human population is growing. It's time people realise that Daintree and rivers like it are the croc's home as well. Surely they've got a greater claim to it anyway. After all, they've been around for millions of years. Thankfully, people like Maddie, Shane and Erin are bringing awareness to the local population. I only hope they can persuade the authorities their plans are futile. I've enjoyed my night out on the river. The croc population seems healthy for now.
Righto, see you later. See you, Adam.
But it's time for me to move on. I really hope the situation remains the same when I return.